Hi, hello, and welcome back to another video. And once again, we have more Riftbound reveals. Now, mind you, the reveals have been kind of all over the place. Like certain days, there was a couple that was dropped. Other days, it was another set of three. But finally, we have about, I would say, like maybe nine-ish, 10-ish cards. And mind you, some of these cards you might have already seen if you're caught up with the Riftbound community. But I just didn't feel like it was right for me to put out a video that was only like going over 3 cards. I felt like I don't want to waste your time, and that's a lot of effort and time to just do 3 cards. And so I just waited for a couple of days, and we have a lot of cards to go over. Now, mind you, I have seen the first 3 cards, but most of the rest of them I really haven't seen or read. I've seen the artwork for it, but that's about it. So let's go ahead. These first 3. Since these have been out a little bit, I won't talk too much about them, but I will tell you what they do and show you the cards. So first off, we have Flurry of Blades. It's a 1 energy card. It's a reaction spell speed. It says deal 1 damage to all units at a battlefield. It's a Katarina card, clearly. I think a lot of people, including myself, have been trying to use this in Misfortune Warwick, because if you don't know, Warwick's ability is that if he attacks, he instantly destroys all damaged units. And so people have been using Bullet Time, Bullet Hell, or Bullet Rain, whatever Misfortune signature spell is. It's her ult from the game. They've been using that to damage everyone at a battlefield, and then they would swing with Warwick and kill everyone there. However, Flurry of Blades deals 1 damage to everyone on the battlefield for only 1 energy. So in many ways, it's a better version of for that combo at least than Misfortune signature spell. However, at the same time, Misfortune signature spell can get you out of some trouble, especially if you have like a higher cost unit that you need to get rid of. And so I wouldn't say like this replaces Misfortune signature spell in that specific version of the deck. But maybe you would run 2 of the Bullet Time, or and then 3 of this, 2 of this. I would have to see the ratios for it. But this is for sure mostly for the Warwick version of Misfortune for sure. Now let's go on to the next one. It's another body card. It's another spell card, but this one is a action spell speed. It's a 5 energy for 2 power, and it says for each friendly unit you may spend its buff to ready it, then buff all friendly units. Interesting. So basically, as long as you are putting buffs on the field, you can take off all their buffs, ready all those units that you did, and then buff all friendly units. This is quite good because you're not going to be taking a buff off of every card on your field. So clearly, this is more for like a like you take a couple, you ready like 1 or 2 cards maybe, and then you give a buff to everyone on the field. I think this is a solid card. It's kind of expensive at 2 power and 5 energy, but since it readies plus it gives a buff to all friendly units, I think this is a overly good card. Like it's a good enough card to run maybe 2 of. I don't know if you would run 3 of, because at the end of the day it's just an action spell speed card. But I could see like something like Lee Sin might be able to use this. Of course, like any of the buff decks could technically use this, like Set and whatnot. But I feel like a lot of times when it comes to like just buffing all friendly units, that would help more like Lee Sin than anyone, just because he wants to get as much buff stuff as possible on the field. And of course, Lee Sin can also benefit from this if you play multiple copies of this card. But I don't think this is like the best like orange body like buff card so far. So let's go on to another orange card, or another body card, and this is a gear. It's a 9 energy for 2 power. It's called Dazzling Aurora. It says at the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit, play it, ignoring its cost, and recycle the rest. This is very interesting because at first when I saw this, I thought this was a spell card, and I was like, for 9 energy and 2 power, this effect is not too strong for a spell card. But since it's a gear, and that means it's going to be on your turn until either your enemy destroys it or somehow gets like removed from the field, this is a really good card for body. I mean, if you are playing like a Volibear and you just load your deck up with very high might and high energy cost cards, and you're just able to play it, like I have a chance to play a lot of them at the end of every one of your turn. Now mind you, this card does take 9 energy and 2 power, but it doesn't really matter in a deck like Volibear, and I feel like Volibear is probably like one of the worst decks when it comes to just like being consistent, or just having more like, clearly it's just not as strong as some of the other decks right now. And I would love to run this in a Volibear deck with tons of high energy, because I think right now he can ramp enough to actually use this card. He might get a lot of benefit from running this card. I don't know if you wouldn't run 3 of it because you would see it too much. I'm sure these do stack, but with how expensive it is, I would probably say run 2. Or at least I would run 2. I might try 3, but I think 3 is just too much. You'll draw into it too much. I think a good 2 is enough. In this, especially mid game, because by mid game, volley players usually have 9 power, unless they're, 9 energy, unless they're just recycling everything that they have. So I think this can for sure be good. I think for volley player people, if you play volley, you would probably be excited for this card. And let's go on to the next one. Our next one is a champion unit, and it is Twisted Fate, the Gambler. It's a 4 energy for 4 might, and it says, when I attack, reveal the top rune of your rune deck, then recycle it. Do one of the following based off its domain. If it's a Fury, deal 2 damage to an enemy unit here, and 1 to all other enemy units here. If it's a if it's a mind rune, draw 1 card, and if it's a order rune, you stun an enemy unit. Now, mind you, this is a very, very fun card. I think it's a very cool card, especially if you know what Twisted Fate does in the game of League of Legends. And this is a very on-brand, very, very on-brand card for sure. But what I'm getting out of this is that Twisted Fate is clearly a chaos card. So you have to, in order to use as a passive, you have to, of course, combine it with a legend. Now, mind you, the only legends that he can run with right now, there's not a single order chaos deck yet, or legend yet. You could only run this in Jinx and Teemo. Because they're both chaos, chaos and fury, and the chaos and mind. There is no chaos and order, so what I'm assuming either A, we might get a couple other legends, maybe maybe they're hiding some from us, or this is like a future proofing thing to where it's like maybe you're not gonna be able to do this right now, but maybe we can get the other 2 for right now, right? I don't know for sure. Even if you only have Fury runes, deal 2 damage to an enemy unit here and 1 to all other enemy units here could be good. Just overall good, especially because he's just a 4 energy, no might. But it's not like the best effect in the game. I would personally prefer the order effect, which is stun an enemy unit, because I feel like at 4 might, stunning an enemy unit attacking with another unit that you have is always superior to dealing damage or drawing. Drawing is fine. Drawing is always a +1. But I could totally see this being, eventually when we get a Chaos and Order deck, I think this could be a really good card in it, a really good solid card with the stun. Now, next up, we have another spell. Now, this is a action spell speed. It's a 3 energy. It's a calm spell. It says, if an opponent score is within 3 points of the victory score, this card costs 2 less. It says draw 1 card and channel 1 rune of Zasu. So originally it's a 3 energy for draw 1 card and channel 1 rune, which is not that bad. I could see this being really useful in a deck like Yasuo and Lee Sin, because they kind of have a lot of the bigger cards in the game. I could totally see especially the 1 rune exhausted helping a Lee Sin with a lot of his orange power cards, because we all know how much orange units love taking power. Plus draw 1 is always a positive, so you're going really positive with this card. And mind you, in a normal 1v1 versus match, within 3 points the victory score is 5. And 5 is, you're not going to be instantly going to be able to get value from this card if it's in your hand, but to be able to play this for 1 energy to draw 1, and it's just a plus card, right, at that point. And a lot of decks right now, the game is technically fast. Jinx, Darius, decks like that can swarm a field really fast and get a lot of points early. So I could totally see, by the time Lee Sin is ramping or starting to ramp, or wanting to get into that flow, I could totally see Yasuo and both Lee Sin just loving this card for 1 energy and to just do everything they want to. Draw 1 card, which is already a plus, and then also channel 1 rune for Sona if Yasuo player is running Sona, or even if a Lee Sin player is running Sona. Overall, a great card. Yeah, I don't even see like this. I don't even think this card really has a downside because it's no power cost to begin with, and it just so happens to have the chance of becoming a 1 energy drop for really a +2 positive play. So it's a very good card in my opinion. I think this is gonna be a really fun card to play around with in decks. It just makes some decks more consistent than what they currently are. Now, finally, or next up, I should say. We have a mind card right here, but I just want to say the artwork on this is so cute. It's Chip, a couple of poros, and I think like a rat or something falling through a portal. I don't know what Chip is doing here. Portal or Chip, he's falling through a portal back first. I hope he's okay. But this is a 3 energy, 1 power card. It's a action spell speed. It says banish a friendly unit, then play it to base, ignoring its cost. This is really interesting, because I don't think there's a single card in the game that ever mentions another like a banish pile or a banish like zone or anything. So this is our very first like true removal, like a true banish zone, like a absolute removal place. I mean, this is a good play to protect your own cards, especially for Mind. A lot of times, like, Mind so far has not had a lot of ways to do, like, stuff like this. I could even see, like, Kaisa, like, wanting Kaisa to survive. I could totally see Kaisa, using this in her deck. I think this is just overall a pretty good card because you basically make the friendly unit untargetable because you can't target if it's banished. There's no cards in the game that even have done this yet, and then you play it to your base, ignoring its cost. So you're basically just saying like, oh, it's the only issue is the action spell speed. So you kind of have to predict in a way like what people are going to do. Like I could see this being useful like when you're defending a battlefield. You can banish a friendly unit, then play it to your bases to keep it alive. There's a lot of situations like that, but if you're playing against like a green player or something, it's really risky to run this card because you might just get like counterspelled every time. You're like, yeah, you could fish for counterspells using this card, which is a good thing against green, is fishing for it. But I think overall this is a good card. It's the first type of card like this. I want to see what they do with the banish system, or like the banish like realm, or whatever they're gonna call it. Because in other games, a lot of times the permanent removal or like permanent zone is kind of hard to balance. And a lot of times whole metas are defined by the decks that can use like the banish zone or the banish pile, or like the whatever they want to call their special place that they put cards that's not the trash pile. So we'll see how good this card is. I think this card is actually useful, though. I think it's not too expensive either. And if you're playing Kaisa, like I said, this is technically only a 3 energy to save a card of hers, which is a very positive play. I like this. I think this is just fine. And like I said, I do wish this was a reaction card. I really do. I think reaction might just make it broken though in Kaisa, but it's fine being an action. I think it's just okay. It's not just the most amazing thing, but I think for Kaisa and maybe a future blue decks, this is gonna be a good card, good solid card to have to protect your own units. Now up next is the ones from today. Now I'm pretty sure all these cards that we have left are from today. So the first one, this is a card actually revealed by the community Discord server. So once again, if you haven't, please go join the community Riftbound community Discord server. It's a great way to help you learn the game, help you with like rules that you might not know, or help with interactions you don't know. You can play against other people. You can do like webcam matches. You can do TTS matches, whatever you want to do. People are very friendly, and it's just a nice place to be. So let's go ahead and get into this card that they revealed today. This is a order card. It's a normal unit. It is Albus Pharos. It's a 4 energy for 3 might, and it says, when you play me, spend any number of buffs. For each buff spent, channel 1 rune exhausted. Curious. No power cost on this, so he's already like a decent, like just a beater card, right? 4 energy for 3 might's not nothing to laugh at. But channeling 1 rune exhausted for each number of buffs you spend is a unique idea, because so far a lot of the yellow decks that can abuse buffing, because I only really say that like Set is the only real true yellow deck that can buff. Like I know like Darius has a couple of cards they can use to like buff things, or like he has like that one card that like that has Legion, that when it says when it's played second turn, it gets a buff. I don't think this is just overall like oppressive or anything. I think if Set gets better cards, or if they need he needs more power, this might be good. Because what I'm thinking with this card is like Set still has a lot of orange, like normal orange cards, and a lot of the body cards in this game are very power hungry. And even though they're really strong, they take a lot of power and they take a lot of energy. Is I could totally see Set doing this just to ramp really fast, like really fast, like get a couple buffs on people and then do this. The only issue with this is that Set likes to keep his buffs because it is his only way to protect his units. And so you really have to know when you want to play this, because if you try swinging a combat and then you don't have a buff on it like a Set or like any of his units, and then you can't use Set's legend ability, it feels really bad. And he already kind of needs more ways of getting buffs on his cards, or like he just doesn't have that many. He likes to keep the buffs that he does get onto his cards. So this is kind of a hard match for me right now, because I don't really know who exactly, like what deck exactly wants this, or if any deck will be like overly good with this. We'll see though, because I don't really play Set that much. I don't really play a lot of the buff decks. Like there's a lot better YouTubers that play the buff decks way better than me. So we'll see what they can come up with and see if this card actually becomes a staple or not, because it might be able to, especially in future formats and whatnot. So let's go on to the next one. We have a Fury spell card. This is a normal spell speed. It's a 2 energy for 2 power. It's called Falling Star, and it says do this twice. Deal 3 damage to a unit. You can choose different units. I mean, this card is just really good. I mean, in Kaisa, this is a 2 for 1 power, and it deals 6 damage. You can target multiple, you can choose on different units. Like, that's kind of crazy. So realistically, you can do you can either do 6 damage to 1 unit, or do 3 damage to 2 units. And mind you, this is not accounting for if you have like an Annie card in your deck or anything like a Void Gate. This is only counting this card alone. So this card is kind of insane for 2 energy and 1 power. I mean, we have only got cards for like 3 energy that does like 3 damage, maybe 4 damage with 1 energy attached to it. But for it to be 2 energy and 2 power, and mind you, with Kaisa, it's 2 energy and 1 power. I mean, this is a great staple to have. Beautiful artwork. I love the artwork on it. Just a really good card. I mean, it's a really good just burn card. Nothing much else to say about this. I think Kaisa's gonna use this. I think some burn decks in the future might use this. But for sure, Kaisa. I think Kaisa just loves any spell that's a low cost, like just power heavy spell. I mean, I just don't see how, like, Kaisa just keeps getting better and better cards. Kaisa will eventually become really good, and I think she's already okay at best, and like I think she's a little bit better than okay. So we'll see where she ends up at with all these new cards helping her so much. I do think this is broken though. I think for only 2 energy, it's in 2 power. This does a lot for your deck, especially if you run 3. Like, imagine running 3 of this. You can do 6 damage every time you draw it. It's just a lot. And I mind you, like that's without Annie, like the Annie unit or like Void Gate or something. Now next up is a mind spell, a normal spell speed. It's 6 energy for 1 power. It's called Progress Day, and it's draw 4. I mean, this is a fine card. It's like a Pot of Greed, or 2 Pot of Greeds, really. I mean, 6 energy, 1 power is not too heavy of a cost. This is more of a, you don't have any cards in your hand, and so you have 6 energy to play with, and so you just draw 4. It has no downside. It's only a positive. It is kind of steep, the cost is, but I don't think it's a bad card by any means. Once again, it's just to make some of these decks more consistent, to make blue maybe more consistent. I don't really know which blue decks just want to use a power heavy spell. I mean, Kaisa could technically use this because then it would be a free spell. Like it would be 6 energy for 0 power for 4 cards, which is not too bad of a trade deal. But overall, it's just a more consistent card because it's a draw card. So we'll see what it ends up at. Now here's a next one. This is a chaos spell. It's a hidden, and it's also an action spell speed. Just like Hidden Blade, for instance. It's a 2 energy cost, and it says move a unit from a battlefield to its base. I mean, this is good for. I mean, it can be used against your opponent. It can be used. You can use on your own cards. It's a hidden, and it's an action. I mean, if you hide it, it's really good because you can react to it or react with it. And then an action card, it still does work. This even is good for like things like Purple Yasuo. You could use this spell card just to move him one time, then use Yasuo to move him again. And just like like we getting so many movement spell cards in the game now. These cheap little chaos, like, you know, Flash, for instance, too. We got Flash here recently. I think with Purple Yasuo, Flash and Fight or Flight is really helping Yasuo's case on why that Purple Yasuo could be a very fun playstyle. And mind you, if you didn't know, Dave Trom, the game director of Riftbound himself, said that Purple Yasuo is like his favorite card or like his favorite deck to play. And slowly over time, with these purple cards keep coming out, I can really see why it's his favorite deck, because it might not be like busted, but it's gonna be it's a really fun playstyle to try to get multiple points with the Yasuo by moving him. And I think these cards are just proving it right, that, you know, the more cards that come out, the better it is. Now let's go on to the next one. We have Dr. Mundo. He is a Mind Champion unit. He is a 8 energy for 2 power for 6 might. It says, my might is increased by the number of cards in your trash. At the start of your beginning phase, recycle 3 from your trash. So this is you want to dump your hand a lot with this card. Like, my might is increased by the number of cards in your trash is kind of insane. Like, yeah, it's a 8 energy for 2 power. But let's say it's like I'm seeing this as like a late game card. I'm seeing this like you're swinging with it whenever you need like 2 or 3 points left, and you want, like, you know, let's say a opponent is holding, like we see recently with Master Y, that legend can be really annoying with like that one battlefield. And sometimes it's hard for a deck to overcome like the how much, you know, defense those cards have when attacking into them. Is I could totally see Blue using this as just like a late game diver, kind of like Draven with like Fury. I think people like Draven right now just for the fact that he can secure a point and hold a point late game. Yeah, I mean, if you have 20, like if you have, you know, 10 plus cards in your trash, this card's a 16 might, which is probably the most might in the game without like using spells and abilities and whatnot, which is just crazy. This is a really, you know, strong late game card. I mean, it's already 8 energy and 2 power, so clearly is a late game card. You have your ramp. You might want to play like 1 or 2 of this. I could play Draven in red at 2, and it works out pretty well. I see him when I kind of want to. I don't really see him when I don't want him. So I could totally see this. Mind you, at the beginning of your, at the start of your beginning phase, you recycle 3 from your trash. But at the same time, if you have this card on a battlefield, you're probably not getting killed unless like they use like a hidden blade or something on this card, or like Call of the Week, or like any kind of removal like that. So you can win a game if you play this within 2 or 3 turns. So like the second part of this ability is not bad by any means. Unless you only have like 3 or 4 cards you're trashed, then yeah, it's bad. But he's still, at the end of the day, a 6 might unit that just has the possibility of being more. So I don't think this card is bad at all. I would love to use this card in blue in mine decks that can use him. He'll be a great card for them to just hold a point. Yeah, I think that's what Mundo is kind of known for in the league as well, right? Just like being the big guy that no one can take down, or you need a team to take him down. So very interesting cards today. I think for sure, let me go up through them. I love Find Your Center, the spell card that allows you to draw 1 and channel 1. I like Falling Star, great spell card that might be broken low key. I think I'm liking these movement cards like Fight or Flight. I think these cards for sure are going to make Purple Yasuo just a lot of fun. Maybe not even, maybe not the best deck, but it's just a lot of fun. I like these kind of play styles where like it evolves around like doing one tactic to win the game. And then last off, Dazzling Aurora is one of my favorites, because I think Volibear for a very long time has been kind of weak, or just kind of been like swept over the rug. Like a lot of decks have gotten a lot of good cards that made them better. I don't think Volibear has really gotten a card so far that's done this, and clearly Dazzling Aurora is clearly meant for Volibear or just really high body ramp decks. I would love to play this card. I really want to practice experiment with this card, which I'll probably be doing later tonight after I edit and upload this video. But as always, please let me know how you feel. What is your favorite card from these released today? Do you like Twisted Fate? Do you like Mundo? Do you like some of the spell cards? Please let me know your opinions. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. I do these every other day. I'm reacting to all the release cards. I'm helping you guys learn how to play the game if you don't. Now, as always, take a chill pill, relax, have fun. I'll see you next time.